Ever feel like the rules have changed? You know, how things work, especially for men navigating, well, everything. We're diving deep today into something that tackles exactly that. It's an ebook. UK Immigration, Legal and Illegal Methods by Conrad Riker. If you're looking for a really sharp, kind of unfiltered take on how the game's being played now, this is definitely for you.
Yeah, it's not your standard report, is it? No dry stats, really. Riker's book is much more about observations from the ground, looking at the surprising, sometimes, let's face it, uncomfortable ways people are dealing with the UK immigration system.
Exactly. And it's a fascinating way to look at bigger societal shifts, too, how people adapt. So think of it like a field guide to this changing landscape. Immigration's the focus, sure, but the insights on how systems work, or maybe don't work, they tell you a lot about the bigger picture.
Right.
Our mission here is to pull out the key stuff from the ebook, especially how it shines a light on institutional shifts and how men are, reacting to this new reality.
And if you want the whole story, the full unvarnished perspective, you can grab Conrad Riker's UK Immigration, Legal and Illegal Methods on Amazon Kindle and Google Play Books, too.
Absolutely. And hey, if you find this kind of deep dive valuable, do us a favor, hit like and subscribe. Help others find the show.
Definitely. And for more from the author directly, Conrad Riker's on Substack. It's at Conrad Riker.
Okay, let's get into it. The book jumps right into the post-Brexit situation, makes some pretty direct claims about male migrants. What stood out to you first?
Well, it hits you straight away with this assertion that post-Brexit, non-EU men are really dominating the skilled visas. And the author puts this down, partly at least, to what they call an inherent drive to conquer.
Drive to conquer, huh? And they mention specific routes, right? Like the Tier 1.
Yeah, the Tier 1 investor visa. Basically buying entry with a big investment. The book suggests this appeals to a certain mindset, proactive. Get it done.
Right, that sort of initiative-taking approach, finding a way through. And it names specific industries, too, doesn't it? Where this drive is supposedly still key.
It does. Oil rigs, trucking, plumbing. Examples where the ebook argues testosterone still matters. That's the phrase used.
That's blunt. And it draws this contrast, this divide almost between London and the North.
A really sharp contrast. London's painted as full of, the book calls them HR harpies, maybe bureaucratic hurdles is a kinder way to put it, whereas the North is described as a place where banter earns promotions and beards boost pay. So different rules apply culturally.
Wow. Banter and beards. That's quite a picture. And there's this recurring theme. Weakness dies here. That's pretty intense.
It is. It's a very direct message. And I imagine, that might resonate with some listeners.
And the author uses examples to back this up, right? There was one about a nurse.
Yeah, the Filipino nurse. Rejected for a pediatric job, supposedly lacking empathy or something, but then approved as a trauma surgeon. The book uses this to illustrate what it calls the system's brutal logic, basically. Valuing men in roles needing quick, decisive action under pressure.
Almost like a return to pragmatism. Results over everything else.
Kind of. The book even brings up Florence Nightingale in the Crimean War. How she just needed capable people, didn't care about quotas when lives were on the line.
That's an interesting historical parallel.
Yeah.
And this links to observations about the economy shifting, too. Manufacturing versus tech.
The author notes Manchester's manufacturing sector seeing growth post-Brexit, contrasting it with London's tech scene. Suggests a shift in what skills are maybe becoming more valued, regionally at least.
And the anecdotes really drive it home, like the Nigerian electrician in Leeds.
Right. Supposedly got a raise because he just focused on the job, didn't get involved in what the book calls pronoun game. It's presented as this sort of Brexit dividend, a return to valuing practical skills above all else.
And there was another one, the Indian engineer.
Yeah. Moved from tech in Shoreditch, London, up to Sheffield Steelworks. Apparently tripled his salary. And his boss, a former coal miner. It all paints this picture of traditional industries, traditionally male skills, maybe finding renewed value outside the capital.
The construction point, too. Northern firms hiring male migrants because the work's tough. What was the line? Frostbite doesn't care about your gender studies degree.
Pretty raw, yeah. It's a blunt take on the physical reality of some jobs.
Okay, so from there, the ebook moves into navigating bureaucracy, specifically asylum. This gets complex and
It
controversial.
really does. What's striking first is the data the book presents on asylum claims. You see high initial rejection rates,
Right.
but then much higher success rates after appeal, which, suggests the system can be navigated. If you're persistent, use the appeals process. The book even mentions tactics like filing in Welsh courts to cause delays.
Strategic delay. Okay, and then there are the, let's say, creative strategies the book talks about, the LGBTQ plus persecution playbook.
Yeah, that's quite something. The ebook claims some straight men are basically inventing stories, fabricating persecution, even making up pride parades in places like Nigeria to bolster their claim.
Wow. That definitely raises questions about, well, the integrity of the process.
Absolutely. And the potential for gaming the system. The book even mentions focusing on really tearful stories about ex-gay conversion therapy as a potentially winning strategy.
It's quite cynical. What about just disappearing, working under the radar?
That comes up too. Blending into the gray economy. There's an example of a Bangladeshi student just quietly running a pressure washing business, cash in hand, off the books.
Shows the limits of state control, I guess.
Exact. And the ability to just operate outside the official structure.
There's a darkly funny one, too. A Ukrainian guy in Peckham learning Millwall chants.
Haha. Yeah. Mastering the football chants and rhyming slang to, as the author puts it, out-stupid the system. Basically using cultural camouflage.
Blending in. Seems like a recurring theme.
Very much so. The book even notes, kind of bizarrely, that LGBTQ plus asylum claims from Pakistan apparently had a higher success rate after RuPaul's Drag Race got popular in the UK, suggesting cultural trends might even play a role.
That's wild. And the advice on claiming bisexuality, the Swiss Army knife of asylum.
Again, cynical, but the book presents it as a perceived loophole. Cites a Nigerian claimant wearing a Freddie Mercury t-shirt as an example of signaling, I suppose.
And it claims firms are actually coaching people on this, showing them film.
Yeah, it mentions immigration firms screening films like Brokeback Mountain, apparently to teach the right emotional cadence for testimony, how to perform the story convincingly.
But it doesn't always work, does it? There's a warning in there, too.
Right, the cautionary tale. The Pakistani guy whose claim got rejected because his story about a pride march during a Taliban lockdown just sounded completely unbelievable, overacted, basically. So even the performance needs some credibility.
Okay, so from asylum tactics, the book shifts to the cash economy, tax avoidance. Another area of, let's say, unconventional approaches.
Definitely. This part really lifts the lid on the hidden economy. There's this character, Edie, the Albanian tarmac guy.
Right, the tarmac maestro.
Yeah, runs his whole business in cash, counting. A basic Nokia phone. His view on tax. The book quotes him saying, "In Tirana, we say taxes are for people who can't run fast."
Tells you everything, doesn't it? Paints a picture of this whole other economy running in parallel.
Absolutely. And the book even suggests learning things like Cockney rhyming slang isn't just color. It's a survival skill in that untaxed world. Helps you fit in, understand the code.
So cultural adaptation again, but for very practical reasons. And it gives actual tips for staying invisible.
Oh yeah, very blunt advice. Keep moving between areas, change your look, use burner phones, dress down, don't attract attention. The basics of staying off the radar.
And the pawn shop principle, what's that?
Basically, turn cash into easily hidden, untraceable assets. Gold, jewelry, things you can manage outside the banks.
Right. Avoid the formal financial system. And the story about the Brazilian cleaner at Heathrow sounded like a spy novel.
Really did. Luisa, using encrypted WhatsApp groups labeled Book Club and Burner Sims to coordinate cleaning jobs and supposedly outwit border force checks, it just shows how basic tech can be used to operate under the radar.
And the irony of that newspaper expose.
Yeah. The Sun runs a story, Illegal Immigrant Next Door, trying to drum up outrage. But the ebook says it basically became a how-to guide for people wanting to avoid detection. Gave them tips.
Unintended consequences. And there are specific rules mentioned. The 3-2-1 rule.
Yeah, for phones and vans, have 3 phones, 2 vans, only 1 register. Constant rotation. And advice like avoiding NHSGP registration, just pay cash at private clinics if you need care. It's a whole system for minimizing your official footprint.
It's incredibly detailed. Blending in culturally keeps coming up. The Moroccan electrician quoting Del Boy.
Exactly. Using bits of popular culture to seem local. Or the Ukrainian builder in Liverpool picking up Scouse slang. The book argues Brits are often clueless about their own regional variations, so it's easier to blend than you might think.
Fascinating. Clothing, too. Like the street vendor.
The Nigerian guy selling stuff on the street, always wearing West Ham football jerseys to fit in with the local crowd in East London. Simple, but effective camouflage.
And financial. How do people hide income?
The book gives examples. Like the Romanian gardener has a nice Mercedes, but officially declares very little income from his registered gardening business. The real money's cash in hand. Same with a Syrian baker in Manchester. Report a bit, keep most of it quiet.
And the book claims this is actually safer than speed.
Statistically, yes. That's the stark point it makes. Tax enforcement for small-scale cash work is apparently so under-resourced, you're less likely to get caught doing that than for a minor traffic violation. A pretty bleak assessment of priorities.
Okay, let's shift gears again. Workplace dynamic, institutional changes. This feels central to the book's overall argument.
Yeah, this is where it really gets into the impact of broader societal trends. Contrasts what it sees as ideology versus practicality. Starts with Dr. Rajesh Patel, thriving in Yorkshire, supposedly without needing diversity programs.
So, questioning the need for those initiatives everywhere.
That's the implication. The book goes further, asserting men are often, evolutionarily hardwired for high-pressure roles. It's a very controversial biological argument.
And it uses examples like the Nigerian nurse again.
Yeah.
In a workplace context.
Right.